All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. We're going to talk a little head coaches and where they rank. Mina Kimes from ESPN did her rankings of the top 10 NFL head coaches and how she would rank them. And I think it's kind of interesting the way she has it. Now, Andy Reid, her 1 through 10. Andy Reid is number 1 from Kansas City. She's got Kyle Shanahan, number 2 from the Niners. Mike Tomlin of the Steelers, number 3. John Harbaugh from the Ravens, number 4. Sean Payton from Denver, number 5. Nick Sirianni of the Eagles, 6th. Matt LaFleur, the Packers head coach, checks in at 7. Shockingly, she had Bill Belichick down at number 8. Sean McDermott of Buffalo, 9, and Pete Carroll from the Seattle Seahawks at number 10. It's a really interesting list. Everybody's got their favorites. Everybody's got a different way to break it all down. To me, the fact that Sean McVay, who's won a Super Bowl and is 60-38, a 612 winning percentage with the Rams, is not in the top 10. I think that's kind of baffling to me. That was the biggest surprise. And then Bill Belichick, come on. Bill Belichick is the 8th best head coach in the NFL, according to Mina Kimes. I can't go with that. So let's go through my own list. First, a couple thoughts. Mike Tomlin has had only 1 10-win season over the last 5. Now, he doesn't have any losing seasons. And if you look at Tomlin does have a great track record with the Steelers, 163-93-2. He's got a 636 win percentage. But to me, I think having him 3rd overall is a little too high on the list when he's only had 1 10-win season in the last 5 years. Okay, so it's a little bit of what have you done for me lately? A little bit. By comparison, Sean McVay's had 4 10-win seasons out of the last 6 that he's coached, and didn't make the top 10, but Tomlin's 3rd with 1 10-win season in the last 5 years. That's that one. There's something wrong there. Matt LaFleur's got an incredible record when you look at his record in Green Bay, 47-19. He's won 71% of his games, but he's had Aaron Rodgers there. And I just don't think LaFleur, let's check what LaFleur does now going forward with Jordan Love. The Packers are a really good organization. They do a great job personnel-wise. He doesn't pick the personnel. And then he's had Rodgers. I think it's made LaFleur look quite a bit better than he actually is. John Harbaugh is interesting, too, in that he's 147-95. He's won 60% of his games. He's won a Super Bowl, as we unfortunately know all too well. But he's only had 2 losing seasons in 15 years. So, I mean, that's impressive, too. When you can minimize your losing seasons, I mean, Tomlin's had 1 losing season ever. This guy's had only 2 in 15 seasons. Sean Payton, 152-89. He's won 63% of his games, but he's also had 4 different seasons of 7-9. So I don't know. I think Sean Payton might be a little high. And then Nick Sirianni, 676 win percentage, 23-11, 1 Super Bowl appearance. But I mean, let's pump the brakes on Nick Sirianni. That's, if you want to project down the road, fine, but you're going to have Sirianni at 6 with no Super Bowl win, but Sean McVay, who's won 61% of his games and he's got a Super Bowl win and 2 Super Bowl appearances. I don't know. I think I would have to go with McVay. All right. Or is it 1? Yeah, I think it's 2, isn't it? 1 Super Bowl win for McVay. All right, so here's my list. I think you got to go Andy Reid number 1. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I always look at it like this. If every coach in the league became a free agent, who would get the biggest contracts? And I think Andy Reid, far and away, is the best guy right now. Now, Andy Reid's an incredible play caller. I mean, look what he did this year without Tyreek Hill. Andy Reid, it's funny. Andy Reid was roughly 500 in the playoffs in Philadelphia, and they kind of chased him out of town. Now he shows up in Kansas City, gets an all-world quarterback in Mahomes, and he's on top of the sport. I don't know how long Reid's going to coach. So maybe he wouldn't get a big money deal just simply because he's a little long in the tooth, but I got to put him at number one. Heck, they're the defending Super Bowl champions. His offense produces points. He coached up Mahomes. He does it without Tyreek Hill. Isaiah Pacheco was a rookie runner. He's had changes on the offensive line. I mean, Andy Reid and Brett Veach have got a lot of momentum going in Kansas City. So I'm going to put Andy Reid number one. I think Kyle Shanahan, though, would get the second biggest contract. I really do. Now, there's people that are anti-Kyle Shanahan. He's only 52-46, which is a 531 win percentage. But the last 4 years, he's had 3 trips to the NFC title game and 1 Super Bowl appearance. I've listened to an endless parade of morons ripping Brock Purdy for not being good enough. Well, you can't have it both ways. If Brock Purdy ain't good enough, then Kyle Shanahan almost got to the Super Bowl with a quarterback who was his third string quarterback and who in your minds is not good enough. So it's either Brock's really, really good or Kyle's really, really good. There is no such world out there where Kyle's garbage and Brock's a fraud. So, and yet there's a lot of people out there that would try to make that argument. So you can either say that Brock's all world or you can say Kyle's pretty special. Now, there's video that was done a few weeks ago by this guy Rollins definitely illustrated that Kyle was an outstanding play schemer and gets, receivers in that intermediate area wide open. Brock Purdy's completing 80% of his passes in the intermediate. Garoppolo completed a high percentage in that intermediate range. That's where the game is won and lost in the NFL. People can talk about arm strength all they want, but that's where the game's won or lost. What do you do in the intermediate range? And I'm going to give Kyle Shanahan number 2 on this list. 3 trips to the conference championship game in the last 4 years. I've never seen a player in that locker room that's had anything but glowing things to say on or off the record about Kyle Shanahan. And love him, hate him, whatever. He got to a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. Garoppolo's not great. And he almost got to a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy as a rookie, who didn't even start until December. So I'm giving Kyle Shanahan the nod at number 2 on the list. He is the second, in my opinion, Kyle Shanahan's the second best coach in the NFL. I'm going to throw Belichick number 3 on lifetime achievement. I realize he wasn't great in Cleveland. Hasn't been terrific without Brady, but I think Bill Belichick, the general manager, is letting down Bill Belichick, the head coach. Belichick can still scheme it up better than anybody. He can take away a weapon from any team in the league anytime he wants. He's just a master defensive backfield coach. He's a master at coverage. He's just a great, great football coach. And if I'm going to have a list and it's going to have any credibility at all, Belichick's got to be in the top 3. He's got to be. Now, I'm going to put Sean McVay 4th overall. Sean McVay, got to a Super Bowl with Jared Goff and won a Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford, and he hasn't been doing it very long. The guy's won over 60% of his games. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won 1. I mean, that's a pretty damn good resume right there. So McVay is in my mind is number 4, and I'm going to go Tomlin number 5. I mean, I just think Mike Tomlin never lets the season get out of hand. They bounce back. They play well at home. He's just, what he does is just so consistent. So I'm going to put him number 5. I'll throw John Harbaugh number 6, Sean Payton number 7, Nick Sirianni I'll put at number 8, and I'll put Pete Carroll at number 9 and Sean McDermott from Buffalo at number 10. Those would be my top 10. But in reality, it's Reed 1, it's Kyle 2, it's Belichick 3, it's McVay 4, and it's Tomlin 5. The fact that Mina Kimes didn't even have Sean McVay on her top 10, I think it was a dramatic oversight. And yet I kind of agree with her about Kyle Shanahan. I think Shanahan is a proven entity at this point. I think his offense produces points, and it produces points with a number of different looks. So yeah, he inherited a horrendous roster, and it's taken them some time, and they've had some injury years. They've had some, dramatic things happen. But Shanahan, I would say if he was a free agent right now, he might get less than Reed, but he's getting more than everybody else. because his offense works and everybody in the league knows it. All right, those are my rankings on the head coaches around the NFL. Hope you enjoyed the video. Tune in to the Krug Show around the clock for all your top-tier Niner coverage and football coverage. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. And thanks to all of you for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.